We had another patient that I recall, a female who was pregnant, who had terrible morning sickness. She was vomiting and getting nauseated 3 to 4 times a day. She came to me and we immediately got her on. There are more than 4,000 studies mentioned regarding the benefits of ginger, most of which have been conducted by non-Muslims, of course. We ended up doing some acupuncture sessions on him as well, but within a few days, his vomit went significantly down and eventually went away. Assalamu alaikum. Peace unto everyone. Today, brothers and sisters, we are going to be speaking about a food from heaven, a food mentioned by Allah Himself in the Quran, a food that was actually gifted to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, when most common people think or hear about this food, they think of it as a common culinary or cooking ingredient, and that is certainly true, but it is actually much more than that. What are we speaking about? We're speaking about ginger. Ginger is definitely all of these things and more. If you only think of it as a cooking ingredient, then brothers and sisters, you're missing out. It is actually far more powerful than that. It is actually medicine. The best of foods are medicine. So today, brothers and sisters, we're going to be talking about ginger, some of its background from the Quran and Sunnah, some of its modern benefits proven through today's research, as well as most importantly, how to use it. So let's get right into it. First of all, in the Quran itself, it states in Surah Al-Insan, وَيُسْقَوْنَ فِيهَا كَأْسًا كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا زَنْجَبِيلًا. And they will be given to drink there in heaven a cup mixed with ginger. SubhanAllah. And the Prophet ﷺ, as it's mentioned in the book on prophetic medicine by Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he mentions a hadith narrated by the scholar Abu Nu'aym al-Isfahani that mentions that the Byzantine king gave the Prophet ﷺ a barrel of ginger as a gift. And when the Prophet ﷺ got it, he gave each person around him a part of it. And the companion who narrated it also said that he took a piece. So this is also a hadith mentioned again in Abu Nu'aym. So amongst the benefits of ginger, brothers and sisters, I want to point out that it has so many that in the public medical database known as PubMed, there are more than 4,000 studies mentioned regarding the benefits of ginger, most of which have been conducted by non-Muslims, of course. In terms of its nutrients, ginger has a number of nutrients. It has vitamin C, it has minerals like magnesium, potassium, copper, it has fiber, so it's a good source of fiber. It has certain unique compounds called gingerols, gingerdiones, and zingerones. These are all very potent antioxidants that have a number of different benefits. One of the most well-studied, though, is called gingerols, and it's thought to give many of ginger's benefits. So let's get right into them. The first benefit, and probably the most common for ginger and most well-studied, relates to nausea and vomit and digestive problems. So again, when you look at some of the studies out there, there are specific applications like for morning sickness, motion sickness, nausea or vomit due to chemotherapy or side effects from medications or due to sickness or infection. Almost any type of nausea, vomit, digestive problems like gas or bloating, ginger is one of your top and most easy side effect free remedies. So this is one thing to keep in mind. Number two, another highly studied benefit of ginger relates to its anti-inflammatory properties. So any type of inflammation associated with pain, arthritis, muscular aches and pains, even menstrual pain, go straight to ginger. You know, a lot of people have heard about turmeric as well. Turmeric and ginger are in the same family, so some people will use a combination, but ginger is definitely known for its anti-inflammatory properties. On that same note, a third benefit relates specifically to reducing inflammation in the brain. There are actually published studies that ginger can reduce one's risk for Alzheimer's. So they think part of the reason for that is it can reduce overall inflammation in the brain itself, even after traumatic brain injury as well. A fourth benefit that I wanted to point out, brothers and sisters, is that ginger is antiviral and it's antibacterial. So this is another great benefit. Ginger's antiviral properties are most potent in the raw or fresh form, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. Then when it comes to bacteria, there are published studies again that I'll point out in the bottom of the video that ginger has been found to be inhibitive against E. coli, against aureus, against certain species of Pseudomonas bacteria. So again, it's a type of natural antibiotic as well. A fifth benefit that I wanted to point out is the fact that ginger has anti-metabolic syndrome properties. It even helps lower blood sugar, risk for diabetes, risk for heart disease, can even lower your LDL cholesterol. So again, those are all things that are epidemic nowadays, so it can easily help with that as well. Number 6, some people may be surprised to know that ginger has anti-cancerous properties. Mind you, most of the studies that have been done on it have been done in lab and animal studies. You know, there's not enough money in ginger for pharmaceutical companies to to be doing huge human clinical trials, but keep in mind it does have anti-cancerous properties in lab and animal studies. Keep in mind some of these benefits are so vast and wide in their scope that there are very few medicines that have this type of collection of benefits. To give you further background on this, ginger has actually been studied head-to-head against certain medications. Some of you may know there's a popular drug called Dramamine, which is used for motion sickness and nausea. Ginger was studied head-to-head against this particular medicine, and it was as effective as Dramamine without any of its side effects. It's also been studied for systemic inflammation in comparison to ibuprofen head-to-head. It was similar in its effects, again, to ibuprofen. So again, these are all without having all those harmful side effects as well. So now let's get into the topic of how do we actually use and benefit from ginger. Now keep in mind, ginger can be used in many different forms. It can be used in the raw form, cooked form, a dried form, as a tea. It can even be used as a supplement, like in capsule form. It can even be used topically on the skin. So many times people ask, is it better in its raw form or in a cooked form? So the answer to that, brothers and sisters, is that ginger is better or in its raw or fresh form. It doesn't mean that it won't have any benefit in the cooked form, it still does. But if you're talking about its highest potency, it is in the raw or fresh form. And that is because in the raw form, it is highest in the constituent that I mentioned earlier called gingerols. So this is the quick answer to that. Now, to show you a little demo of ginger. So when it comes to consuming raw ginger, here's a piece of ginger. I've cut a couple small slices. I'm about to taste a piece of ginger. You can take it in this raw format. So ginger has that characteristic burn, and it makes you feel warm, even very quickly. That is why in naturopathic medicine, it is used for a lot of what we call cold conditions, or it's better in cold climates or in winter season, because it has that immediate warming and burning effect. So if you were to use it for something like a sore throat, you can actually take a small piece, chew it, let it go down your throat. If you'd like to use it for digestive problems, you can also chew on a slice of ginger. Another way, if chewing it is very difficult for you or you just can't handle the taste, you can actually make a tea out of ginger. So in that, you could take a few slices of ginger, like these or more. Some people cut off a little chunk of it, place it in boiling water, steep it, they strain off the tea, and they drink it. A lot of times people will even combine it with honey or with lemon. So this is definitely another way that you can take it. Ginger can be prepared by peeling it. You can use a grater to peel this outer layer and get into the inner portion. In cooking, common doses for it are to cut off like small slices of it. Some people cut off a bigger slice, some people cut off smaller slices. Some people will grind it into a paste and use that ginger paste in their cooking. You can also use it in other ways, like adding it into a smoothie or into a juice that you've prepared. Some people add it to soups or broths. In our desi cooking, for our desi listeners out there, a lot of people who consume nehari or halim, I'm sure have had or seen the little ginger slices near it. That helps in the digestion of hard to digest foods like beef or lamb. And that is part of the ancient wisdom. People knew in the old days that ginger would help in the digestion of these hard to digest foods. You can also apply ginger topically on the skin. You can actually cut slices and apply it on an area of pain or even a cut. If it's on a cut, it's going to burn a little bit, but if it's just a painful area, you can apply it. An easier way than applying it directly on the skin is to use it in a compress. So there you would use something like a cheesecloth and cook the ginger, or you can apply the ginger within that cloth and apply it topically for pain. Generally, an adult can consume anywhere from like 2 to 4 grams a day of ginger. If you use a supplement from a company, typically they sell ginger supplements in capsules that have around 1,000 milligrams or so. So again, if you do that, be sure and consult with your physician before using it, because everybody is different and everybody has a different medical background. One thing to keep in mind is if somebody's on blood thinners, ginger has a mild blood thinning effect, so you do want to be aware of that. Lastly, let me close, brothers and sisters, by mentioning a couple clinical pearls. I've witnessed so many people over the years benefit from ginger in so many different ways. I recall one particular patient who was having incessant vomit. He was vomiting about 4 or 5 times a day, and this had been going on for weeks. He came to me, and I ended up giving him basically ground up ginger paste. He was doing that as well as chewing and taking ginger tea, and he got better within a couple days, significantly better. We ended up doing some acupuncture sessions on him as well, but within a few days, his vomit went significantly down and eventually went away. Similarly, we had another patient that I recall, a female who was pregnant, who had terrible morning sickness. She was vomiting and getting nauseated 3 to 4 times a day. She came to me and we immediately got her on ground up ginger. She in fact ended up taking it with a little bit of honey, so she mixed honey with ginger paste and her morning sickness calmed down by at least 90%. So again, these are just a couple examples. Lastly, I'll mention that some of my patients who have pain, either acute or chronic, we're using it both orally as well as topically. So again, the point, brothers and sisters, is that ginger is much more than just a cooking ingredient. I hope you will make full use of this. We've gone over a few practical ways, and I hope you have benefited. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.